What's up, my piano friends? Zach Evans here. In today's video, we're going to cover how to use rhythm patterns for beginners. These patterns are absolutely perfect for writing your own songs, accompanying a singer, playing in a band, and more. And at the end of the lesson, you'll be able to play stuff that sounds something like this. I'm gonna break this down with the cheat sheet to make it so easy a complete beginner who's never touched a piano in their life could learn it. All right, I'm excited and ready to go. Let's get started. All right, so the key to learning rhythm patterns is actually just to get really good at simple counting. Once you master simple counting, even advanced rhythms are gonna be a piece of cake. All right, so the simplest rhythm is simply 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and we're gonna take absolute baby steps to make sure 100% you get this even if you are a complete beginner so that you don't get frustrated, okay? So what I want you to do is put your right thumb on C and count as you play, and just count 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, don't say 5, there is no 5, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know this might sound super easy, but do not skip this step, okay? We have to start integrating counting into your brain, even at the simplest step, so that when we start adding more advanced rhythms, the counting becomes automatic and it's locked into your brain. So make sure that you're actually counting while you're playing. If you can count out loud, even better. So pause the video now and work on your 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, next step is we're simply going to add an E with our middle finger. So we have C and E. And guess what? We're gonna do the exact same thing with these two notes. So we're just gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now make sure you're actually counting, okay? Don't get lazy here. Pause the video and work on your C and E. All right, finally, we're gonna add the top note to this pattern to complete the C chord by adding the G note on top with your pinky. So we have C, E, and G. And guess what? We're gonna do the exact same thing. Okay, let's drill this 1, 2, 3, 4 with the G on top. It's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, pause the video now and work on it. All right, so now that our counting is starting to feel automatic, let's slowly and gradually start to complicate things. All right, so all we have to do to make a complex rhythm out of 1, 2, 3, 4 is remove any of the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4. All right, so first, let's remove the number 4, right? And let's just go back to just playing our thumb, and it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's really important to count the number 4 even though you're not actually playing it. When we get onto harder rhythms, you need to count to keep your brain locked into the rhythm even when you're not playing a note on that beat. So once again, with the thumb, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you get that good, just like before, we're gonna add our middle finger. Same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then of course, once that's good, we're gonna add the pinky on top. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the rest of the rhythms we're gonna cover, we're gonna do the exact same process. Okay, step 1, play it just with your thumb. Step 2, play it with your thumb and your middle finger. And step 3, play it with your thumb, middle, and pinky. And the whole time counting while you play. Now, if you're a beginner, it's very important that you follow this process to drill in counting correctly and solidly into your brain. You know, it's crazy to me how many YouTube videos I see out there that are, you know, quote unquote, for beginners, and they have like 1-minute instruction, and then they're like, all right, just play this rhythm over a 1, 5, 6 chord progression. And I'm like, what? You just added chord inversions, left-hand octaves, and rhythms all at the same time, and they just plow on to the next thing. If I was a beginner, I'd be like, yo, what are you talking about, right? So it's very important that you follow these 3 steps of thumb, then thumb middle, pinky. I'm really breaking down everything into tiny, tiny baby steps for you to make sure you don't get frustrated. And then make sure that you're counting out loud if possible and playing at the same time. All right, so let's try another rhythm pattern. Now this time, instead of removing the number 4, let's remove the number 3. So now it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do the same thing, right? Then we add our middle finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally the pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, before we add the next rhythm pattern, this would be a great time to download the cheat sheet. This way you don't have to remember all of these rhythms. It'll be right there on the cheat sheet for you. And it has a bunch of stuff we're going to use later in this lesson anyway as well. So click the link here in the description. You go to this page, enter your name and your email, and you'll go to the bonuses page. Then click here to download the cheat sheet. All right, so go download the cheat sheet now, and I'll see you back here soon. All right, so go to your cheat sheet under the beginner rhythm patterns, and you'll notice we already practiced 1, 2, and 3. So now if we find rhythm number 4, as you can see, for this one, we just remove the number 2. So as you play it, it simply goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, you would practice that rhythm pattern again with your thumb and middle finger, and then of course, adding the pinky. All right, so now that you get the process of learning these rhythm patterns, you can explore the other core beginner rhythm patterns on the cheat sheet. There are 7 of them, and you don't need me to learn them, right? Just follow the steps that we've been doing for the other rhythm patterns, where you start it with thumb, then thumb, middle, pinky. Where I want to make you an independent learner, where I don't just tell you what to do, but I'm actually showing you the process of how to learn for yourself step by step. That way you can learn anything you want on piano. All right, so next up, we're going to start adding in different chords to make these rhythms actually sound like they would in a song. But first, if you like this style of teaching where I really take baby steps and teach you not just what to do, but also the process of how to learn, if you could hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, on to part 2, adding chords. All right, so next up, instead of just playing these 3 notes, we're going to practice rhythms over the top of different chords. Now, if you're already advanced, you can take any chords and just play a rhythm over it. And you can just say, okay, C major, G major, A minor, F major. But if you're a beginner, we're going to simplify it tremendously, but it is still going to sound good. All right, so our first chord is actually really easy. It's actually the chord we already learned, our C, E, and G. And just for this video, we're going to call this chord balanced, right? Because just to make it easier for you, because it's balanced, right? The middle note is right in the middle of these outside notes. Now for our second chord, we're going to call this chord bottom heavy, okay? And the only thing that changes is we're going to take this middle note E and move it down to your second finger playing D. So you notice the outsides, your thumb and your pinky, stay completely the same. They don't change at all. You just change the middle note from an E down to a D. That's it. And we call it bottom heavy because there are 2 notes on bottom and only 1 note on top. And then for our third chord, it's easy. We just go right back to our balanced chord. All right, so far we have balanced, then we go down to bottom heavy, and then to balanced. Those are 3 chords so far. So right now, I want you to practice for a bit, just going back and forth between balanced and bottom heavy. So just practice alternating balanced, bottom heavy, balanced, bottom heavy, and really just drill this into your bones. Now for our fourth and final chord, it's just going to be called top heavy, and it's exactly like balanced, except instead of this E, we're going to move it up to our 4th finger playing F. So it's going to look like this. And I'm going to call this chord top heavy because it has 2 notes on top and only 1 on the bottom. So now practice going back and forth between balanced, top heavy, balanced, top heavy, and just really drill this into your bones. All right, so once you have that good, let's put it all together. So the whole chord progression is gonna go balanced, bottom heavy, balanced, top heavy. And we repeat, balanced, bottom heavy, balanced, top heavy. So practice those 4 chords for a bit, really get it into your fingers, and once you have it good, we're gonna start adding the rhythms over the top of this chord progression, and this is when it really starts to get fun, and it really sounds like how chords actually sound in an actual song. So let's go to the cheat sheet and find beginner rhythm number 1. So this is the simple rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna just put it over the chords, so it's gonna sound like this. We're going to start with our balance chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Balanced. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can repeat. Balance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Balanced. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this step is the toughest part for beginners. So if you're struggling here, don't worry, there are 3 things you can do if you're really having trouble with this step. Number 1, slow down. Most beginners make the mistake of trying to play this way too fast. You can always add in speed later, but it's better to have it slow and accurate first. Number 2, you can try practicing just 2 chords at once. So we can just practice going from balanced to bottom heavy over and over like this. Balanced, 2, 3, 4. Bottom heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Balanced. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do the same thing with balance to top heavy, and then once you have that good, you can add them together. So we're basically, taking smaller sections, learning them, and then putting them back together. And number 3, if you're still struggling with this, go back and redo the easier exercises earlier in this video, really drill it into your fingers, and then come back to this afterward. Now check this out. At this point in the video, I didn't tell you yet, but you already actually have a pattern that you could literally write a song to even before we add the left hand. All right, so once you practice this a bit and speed it up, it's gonna sound like this. And you can actually sing along to it, right? Da 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 da. Now, obviously, I'm not a singer. I'm not actually good at singing. But if you had a good singer or you could actually sing, you're already good, right? You already have a chord progression that you could write a song with, and it sounds good with this pattern even before we add the left hand. What's even cooler is I didn't tell you this yet, but you can take this pattern and you can move it to any C on the keyboard. So find any 2 black notes, play your thumb on C, and this pattern will always sound good. So you can play it here. Or up here. And it's always gonna sound good. So now, even though you learned this one pattern, you actually have a lot of different options already that you can use up and down the keyboard. And of course, we can do this with any pattern on the cheat sheet. So that was just with pattern number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we can take pattern number 2, which is just 1, 2, 3, and it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or any of the patterns. We could take 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can literally work any of these rhythm patterns through the 4 chords, and it's always going to sound Good. All right, so let me just show you what a few of these are gonna sound like at full speed. And I'll add in the left hand just so you can hear kind of what the final product sounds like. And I'm gonna show you the left hand in a bit. All right, so let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite. All right, so here's what rhythm number 3 sounds like at full speed. Here's what rhythm 5 sounds like at full speed. And rhythm number 7 at full speed. So I'm curious, which of those did you like best? Rhythm 3, rhythm 5, or rhythm number 7? Let me know in the comments. What's even cooler is you can actually mix and match these rhythms to make an unlimited number of different patterns. So here's an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So be creative, come up with your own combinations of patterns. This is where having the cheat sheet really comes in handy. All right, so next up we have adding in the left hand. Now the short and simple version is the left hand simply plays C, then G, then A, then F. So if we play it along with the right hand, it's gonna sound like this. Now this video is getting a little bit long, so if you're already good at getting hands together, you can just learn it right here and you're good. But if you're not and you really want the down and dirty step-by-step process to learning the left hand, just like we learned everything else in this video by taking very small baby steps to make sure that you don't get frustrated, if you go to the bonuses page, which is the exact same page you downloaded the cheat sheet, underneath the cheat sheet you can go to the left hand instructions video and I'll break it down step by step. So click the link if you haven't already, put in your name and email and go get your bonuses now. And then I'm also going to have part 2 of this series coming out soon, which is going to have intermediate and advanced rhythm patterns, which are a bit faster. And if you've ever heard somebody count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, this is what they're using, and it allows you to play more complex stuff like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So if you want more of this stuff, be on the lookout for part 2, but mastering this video first that you just watched will give you the foundation that allows you to play the more advanced stuff later on. And if you like this very in-depth, step-by-step teaching style, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified anytime I come out with a new video. I'd hate for you to miss out on a video that could really simplify your piano journey for you. So hit that subscribe button now. All right, really hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, peace out and happy practicing.